On May 21, 2025, the Choe Hyun II destroyer capsized at North Korea's Chongjin shipyard. The key issue is not Kim Jong Un's reaction, but what the ship reveals about a new China-Russia aid division, a hidden technology transfer network, and a military model project under North Korea's regime. Any informed military analyst can recognize that the ship's technology is a complex international mix. Tracking the technical fingerprints of this hybrid ship. The U.S. military has long monitored North Korea's Nampo and Chongjin shipyards. When the Choe Hyun-class destroyer appeared, technical analysis quickly flagged it. Its hull proportions closely match China's Type 052D destroyer. Its vertical launch system mirrors China's Type 054A frigate, and its radar dome aligns with China's Star of the Sea system. Internal U.S. defense assessments conclude the structural similarities go far beyond normal influence. This is deep cloning. But the United States is most concerned not with what they see, but what they hear. Radar signals have unique spectral features like fingerprints, scanning frequency, pulse modulation, and reflection patterns are all distinctive. South Korean and U.S. intercepts reveal the radar waveform on the North Korean ship is an 80% match with China's Sea Star training data, suggesting core radar components likely originate from China even if assembled in North Korea. CIA and FBI reports highlight how this technology is flowing into North Korea. Known high-risk transfer methods include North Korean engineers entering Chinese coastal shipyards under the guise of training or project exchanges. Numerous independent technical consulting firms registered in Chinese border cities, often inactive, but with complex personnel backgrounds. Modular radar and shipbuilding equipment declared as civil communication devices on trade documents. North Korean civilian shipyards suddenly receiving prefabricated modules subcontracted from military manufacturers in the south of China. This transfer method leaves no official paperwork or contracts, but successfully moves technology. Known as the technical white glove approach, China's military industry remains hidden, while technology takes root in North Korea. On the weapons side, Russian influence is clear. The AK-630 rotary cannon, suspected armor and weapons system, and Russian-style fire control radars show Moscow's deep involvement. This ship's construction follows China's modular process, prefabricated hull sections, assembly of main sections, rapid outfitting, and launching. North Korea's role was limited to providing the site and a public display. It had never before built a complete shield ship within 400 days. Notably, this warship, personally named by Kim Jong Un to embody North Korea's military spirit, did not even have its engines installed at launch. Insider reports say the builders launched the ship early to meet a key Workers' Party meeting deadline, leaving the installation of the propulsion system for later. In summary, the hull frame is Chinese, fire control and appearance are Russian, propulsion remains uninstalled, and software control remains unknown. The project is a joint China-Russian effort signed off by Kim Jong Un, a military-industrial assembly kit. Two big brothers with a wild little brother. If this ship had been fully managed by China or built entirely by Russia, it would not have capsized. The problem is both countries each provided half, but North Korea assembled a mismatched hybrid on its own. China said, "I'll give you the hull, don't touch it, we'll handle the radar." Russia said, "I'll give you the turret, don't interfere with fire control, the wiring is ours." But North Korea didn't listen to either, barred both sides from the shipyard, and insisted on doing the work itself. The result is a failed assembly and a capsized ship. The hull design was a downgraded version of retired Chinese blueprints. Weapons were Russian surplus radar and AK-630 cannons. Buoyancy standards followed Chinese specs, but assembly followed Russian logic. There was no center of gravity calculation or system debugging before the rushed launch, resulting in a capsize at Chongjin dock. After the accident, North Korea refused to accept blame and instead threatened both China and Russia. The Choe Hyun II effectively has three owners with four agendas, all with their own hidden traps. China's agenda is to provide the hull but keep control of the core systems. China insists it must tune the key systems. North Korea can do as it pleases, but only within China's script. However, Kim Jong Un blocked Chinese technicians with a firm directive. "We want to debug independently and do not require your presence on site." This is not a technical choice, but a sovereignty declaration. North Korea wants to steer its own ship and no longer be China's puppet fleet. Russia's agenda involves exchanging outdated equipment for ammunition, but fears losing control. North Korea has become a munitions hub for the Russia-Ukraine conflict, while Moscow offloads retired radars, AK-630 cannons, and Pecora fire control systems as compensation. A leaked 2025 document warns that interactions with North Korea require tighter controls to prevent technology from leaking to the Middle East and Central Asia. Russia fears North Korea will rebrand Russian technology as indigenously developed, capturing arms customers in Iran, Syria, and Africa by offering cheaper, durable, and copyright-free weapons that outcompete Russian exports. North Korea's strategy is to balance between China and Russia while pursuing technological independence. It accepts Chinese aid but copies Russian technology. While officially cooperating, it produces knockoffs. The goal is a Korean peninsula version of the Iran model, relying on no one but extracting benefits from all sides. The black market benefits from technology leaks. The arms market in the Middle East and Africa are growing. Once North Korea's indigenous systems leak, it will undercut prices, allowing the global black market to capitalize on years of military assets from China and Russia. Technical analysis shows that the capsizing of the Choe Hyun II was not accidental, but the inevitable result of systemic technical conflicts. China's hull design uses the Type 052D's center of gravity calculations, optimized for Chinese radar and weapons weight. However, North Korea insisted on installing Russian AK-630 and armor systems, whose weight distribution clashes with the Chinese design. The result was an overweight superstructure, a raised center of gravity, and lateral imbalance. Chongjin Shipyard lacked large-scale buoyancy testing equipment, so engineers estimated stability by experience. During sideways launch, the unstable weight distribution combined with water impact caused immediate loss of control and capsizing. At the time of the incident, technical advisors from China and Russia were absent. China's personnel were denied factory access due to technical secrecy, while Russian experts left early due to scheduling disagreements. North Korean engineers had only two incompatible technical manuals and had to innovate under political pressure. This is a classic technical orphan scenario. Though both parents exist, no one takes full responsibility. Each technology provider manages only their part and shifts the blame when problems arise. North Korea, lacking integration capability and unwilling to admit dependence, chose political pride over technical realities. Finally, Beijing's main concern is not that North Korea can't build ships, but that it can build them well enough, yet refuses to follow Chinese systems. This creates a semi-finished fleet that rejects Chinese systems and bars Chinese technical teams, leaving all control to North Korea. It effectively plants a flag in the Yellow Sea, declaring, "I am not your proxy." This is not deterrence, but a strategic risk. For Moscow, the situation is worse. While Russia fights in Ukraine, it risks losing influence in Africa as North Korea's knockoff weapons take market share. This is a true case of technology backlash. The real issue is not just the ship capsizing, but the collapse of China and Russia's hopes to control North Korea. Within this aid framework, North Korea no longer wants to be a junior partner. Beijing and Moscow now realize they have fostered an uncontrollable wild dog fleet. China originally intended to use North Korea to contain the U.S. indirectly. The plan was to supply hull designs and radar systems, letting North Korea operate in the Yellow Sea and East China Sea to disrupt Japanese shipping lanes and provoke U.S. and South Korean fleets. Even if attacks failed, it would force the U.S. to divide forces and slow operations. But U.S. intelligence quickly recognized the truth. North Korean warships are using Chinese systems and resemble Chinese vessels. Less than 10 days after the Choe Hyun II capsized, U.S. intelligence showed a readiness to act. Though the Pentagon hasn't named China explicitly, think tanks and intelligence contractors have begun raising alarms. CSIS, RAND, Nikkei Asia, and others report that Chinese technology is being gray exported through countries like North Korea and Russia. The U.S. Defense Department satellite imagery detected sanctioned cargo ships docking in Zhejiang, suggesting military coordination between China, North Korea, and Russia. After the Chongjin shipyard accident, American, Japanese, and South Korean military intelligence agencies recommended creating a Chinese-built HALT signature database to track suspected Chinese-authorized or leaked maritime technologies. Current trends are clear, launching radar signature matching programs to collect global data on Chinese-built ship radar, acoustic, and infrared profiles, encouraging Japan and South Korea to develop rapid foreign hull identification systems to strengthen frontline early warning. Increasing remote sensing surveillance of China-North Korean technology interface ports such as Dandong and Hunchun to monitor hull transfers and modular assembly flows. All assembled ships using Chinese hull designs or radar mast structures are placed on a high-risk technology proxy ship blacklist. In summary, if your ship looks like a Chinese vessel, it's treated as China's proxy. It's not about flags or technology origin, and it's not just a battle of intelligence. It's a rehearsal for a new technology attribution strike strategy. The US no longer waits for the first shot. It holds accountable whoever supplies the weapons. Beijing aimed to kill with a borrowed knife, but ended up being exposed by a borrowed ship. Thinking that they controlled their proxy, China's radar, design, and systems became the reason the Choe Hyun II capsized, revealing China's involvement worldwide. The US is clear. It doesn't matter who is present, but who enables the ship to fight. The new rule of tech warfare is accountability by authorization. The supplier bears responsibility. The Choe Hyun II incident embarrasses North Korea and shatters China's illusion of a low-cost proxy strategy. China tried to save effort and maintain face, but ended up exposing its technology and becoming a priority target. The human cost, the fate of 3 engineers. After the ship capsized in Chongjin port, the first punished were not Kim Jong Un or the ship designers, but the technical staff who worked directly on steel, welding, and radar cables. According to Korean Central News Agency, the shipyard's chief engineer, workshop director, and deputy administrative manager were arrested on site. Later, the deputy minister of military industry, Ri Hyung-sun, was also detained for negligence. They were charged uniformly with unscientific empiricism errors, labeled as a major accident and criminal act. Empiricism errors is a euphemism. The Chongjin shipyard had only built fishing and cargo vessels under 500 tons before. Being tasked with a 5,000-ton shield ship was beyond their experience. Assigning military shipbuilding to Chongjin was itself a mistake. The real empiricism error was Kim Jong Un's political error. He pushed forward at an inexperienced yard and prematurely showcased the ship without engines installed. In North Korea's system, the leader never errs. Lower-level workers take the blame, even if they're just following orders. This is the essence of systemic repression. It's not about effort, but that failure is unacceptable. More strikingly, after inspecting the accident, Kim Jong Un issued the highest directive. The ship must be repaired before the Labor Party's central meeting in June. The 5,000-ton warship capsizing in seawater likely flooded and ruined its radar systems, twisted its hull structure, broken its keel, and flooded the engine room. This presents immense repair challenges. Even Norway's 2018 Helga Instad frigate required months of professional salvage and had repair costs estimated at $1.4 billion before it was scrapped. Expecting North Korea to fix such damage within just a few welding tools, cranes, and slogans is unrealistic. Defectors report that in North Korea, engineering failures are classified as technical crimes. They often lead to charges of counter-revolutionary offenses, ranging from forced labor to public executions. The 3 arrested technicians face only 2 options: create a miracle or disappear. This reflects the authoritarian system's technology environment. Technology must serve politics. Science must yield to appearances. Engineers are disposable props, political theater. The destroyer, named Choe Hyun II, honors Choe Hyun, a war hero and father of current Politburo member Choe Hyun II. The name symbolizes the continuation of North Korea's military spirit and national pride. Now this symbol of honor lies in Chongjin's Shipyard Harbor, covered in blue tarps like a political corpse. A stark irony of authoritarian politics, revolutionary symbols become mere props in power struggles. Even after the scandal and cost, all 3 parties continue due to geopolitical necessity, systemic inertia, and a pathological dependence on the low-cost, quick-impact model. The next Choe Hyun-class ship will likely still be designed, and possibly even built. The blueprints may be labeled domestically developed, system files renamed in Korean, and radars replaced with newer models. But fundamentally, it remains something cobbled together from Chinese and Russian technology. The real problem remains unresolved. How can a system that forbids failure support technology that requires trial and error? In some future exhibition, North Korea may present a model of the ship as the nation's hope. History, however, will remember it as a death certificate for the China-Russia aid framework.